Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's book recommendation, where I'm going to talk about a trio of books on the same subject but with a slightly different approach. And this week it's about the Akashic Records. And the reason I'm talking about it is because it came up in a course I'm teaching recently, helping people to up level their oracle card readings, and the Akasha came up, and I had to explain it to the group that I was with. And if this concept is new to you, it's a spiritual concept that comes from like Sanskrit and ancient Eastern wisdom, that the Akasha is kind of like the ethers, the ethereal world, all the things that we cannot see, but we somehow know exist. And the concept was developed into the Akashic Records and the Akashic Library. And you may also know these things as your Hall of Records or your Book of Life. But the concept of Akasha and the Akashic Library, the Akashic Hall of Records, is where all information is stored. Information related to the past, the present, and the future, and that we can connect to it through meditation and through connecting with those ethers. We can connect our individual consciousness or unconsciousness to the collective consciousness or unconscious that is the Akashic Records. Now, before you think this sounds really weird, the Akasha represents something really beautiful right now. It's kind of the meeting point of spirituality and science, and I'll explain that more in a moment. But if you're new to the Akashic Records and it sounds interesting, you think you want to know more, here's a great book to start with. It's the Hay House Basics, the Akashic Records by Sandra Ann Taylor. And Sandra is spiritual, she's an intuitive, but also she has like a psychology background. She creates oracle cards and she writes a lot of books as well. She writes in a really easy, straightforward style that will help you understand what the Akasha and the Akashic Records are all about, what they mean, and how you can start to connect with them. So if it's new to you and you're interested and you're looking for a basic start point to get more information, this is the one. Now, if the idea of some scientific notions around this interest you, you can go a bit more deeper and get Science in the Akashic Field by Irving Laszlo. You can see I've got little post-its in here. I love this book because he's really running with the notion that spirituality and science are meeting. They're talking about the same thing but just in very different terms. But also now that science itself, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, whatever branch of science it is now understanding this idea about Akasha and about information, which is really what it's about. It's about the information that exists and how is that stored around the universe. Now, science comes at it from an angle of, the storing of information related to things like the Big Bang in terms of what molecules and matter and bits and pieces were in place at any one time to make that happen. But because our galaxy is so vast, physicists are able to work out what happened many thousands of years ago in the galaxy, and it's the same with the concept of the Akasha. We can find out things that happened that weren't known to us at the time. We can look at what's happening now and look ahead, and it's kind of coming from the point of, he calls it an integral theory of everything. And Stephen Hawking was looking for the theory of everything, like what's the one unified theory that explains everything in the universe, except scientists bring it down to maths, and I'm not a numbers person. So if you want to look at the Akashic fields from a scientific perspective, this is the book. Now, if you're more spiritually based than science based, there's a very deep book that you can look at as well, How to Read the Akashic Records by Linda Howe. It's a beautiful book. She works regularly with the Akashic Records and taps into them for clients and for individuals as well as herself. But in this book, she teaches you how to do it. Now, the really interesting thing about all of this is, if you're not convinced, look on, I guess it's the iPlayer, but in January last year, BBC4 had a programme called Einstein's Quantum Riddle, and I can tell you it was on Thursday the 16th of January 2020 on BBC4 because I started making notes. I got so excited about this programme because it started talking about scientists, physicists coming to an idea or understanding that the electromagnetic band that's around the Earth may also have kind of like this holograph effect, and it's where information is stored and kept. So you see, it's kind of all coming together. We're trying to understand, why do things have to be separate, and they're not, and that's what we know from the universe. Everything's absolutely connected. Before it becomes energy, there's a frequency that connects it, and then it becomes energy. So that's this week's books. I have to go now because my papers are flying away, but I hope you enjoy them, and I hope one of them suits you. Until next time, take care. Bye.